I thought the bartender was joking, until he handed me the velvet box. "This came in an hour ago," he said, wiping down a glass like we were in some noir movie. I said it was for the woman in the red dress, but I saw her leave with someone else. My stomach sank like I'd been shoved into a deep pool in winter. A velvet ring box. Black. Closed. Cold. Sitting on the sticky bar counter next to my untouched whiskey sour. I didn't touch it. I just stared at it like it might explode. Because the woman in the red dress? That was my wife. Or at least, she was supposed to be. Until tonight, when I followed her here on a hunch and watched her slide into a booth with a man I've never seen before, but already hate more than anything I've ever hated. They didn't sit like strangers. They didn't talk like friends. And they definitely didn't look like co-workers. I sat 2 booths behind them, sweating through my undershirt, pretending to scroll my phone while trying not to throw up. I counted how many times he touched her wrist. 5. I counted how many times she laughed like I hadn't heard her laugh in months. 4. And then, right after she leaned in like she was about to kiss him, I left. I left without confronting them, without screaming, without saying a word. I walked out and called a courier on the sidewalk like a lunatic. Told him to deliver the ring I'd been carrying in my coat pocket for 2 weeks straight. Told him the name of the bar, the name of the woman. I even gave him a note I scribbled on the back of a gas receipt. It said, "Thought you might want to try this on before you go home with him." I don't know what I expected. Maybe for her to run out and apologize. Maybe for the guy to back off, horrified. Maybe just some truth. Instead, I came back inside an hour later, because I'm an idiot, and I wanted to see what she did when she got it. But they were gone. And now I'm sitting here with the bartender, who doesn't know me, doesn't know her, and clearly doesn't care. He just shrugs, nods toward the box, and says, "Looked like she wasn't expecting it." I finally pick it up. The ring is gone. But inside the box is a folded receipt from a hotel 3 blocks away. And on the back of that, in her handwriting, is a single word. Really, I held that hotel receipt like it was a loaded gun. My hands were shaking so badly, I nearly dropped the damn thing. Room 314. The address scrawled right there, under the cold, printed timestamp. 9:46 p.m. She had left the bar with him at 9:18. I watched them walk out together, smiling, like I didn't exist. So what was I supposed to do? Go home and wait for her to lie to my face again? Sleep beside her like nothing happened? Pretend I didn't just deliver an engagement ring while she was on her way to a hotel bed with someone else? No. I got up. I walked out of that bar like I was on autopilot, hands clenched, heart pounding. I wasn't thinking clearly. I don't think I was thinking at all. I just started walking toward that hotel. Not even 5 minutes away. A business class place. The kind of place that wants to look expensive but smells faintly like mildew and lobby coffee. I got to the front desk, and for a second, I froze. What was I even doing? Busting in like some kind of lunatic? But then I thought, screw it. I've spent the last year playing the nice guy, the apologizer, the fixer. Tonight, I wanted to be the guy who doesn't back down. So I asked if they could connect me to room 314. I told them I was dropping off something personal. That was true, technically. My dignity. The woman at the desk gave me a weird look, but dialed anyway. 2 rings. Then someone picked up. Not her. A man's voice. He sounded annoyed, like I'd interrupted something. "Hello." I didn't speak. I couldn't. My mouth opened, but nothing came out. Then I heard her in the background. She wasn't whispering. She wasn't giggling. She was laughing. Loud. Carefree. Like I'd never made her laugh in my life. He hung up, and I stood there, holding the phone like it had betrayed me too. I didn't go upstairs. I didn't storm in. I didn't bang on the door or demand answers. I just walked back out into the cold December air, stunned silent, eyes burning. I had sent her a ring, a symbol of everything I thought we had, and she answered with a hotel receipt and a sarcastic 1-word note. Really? Yeah, really. You want to know the sickest part? I still didn't leave her. Not yet. I didn't sleep that night. I laid on the couch like a guest in my own apartment, staring at the ceiling like it might offer answers, like the popcorn texture would suddenly spell out what I'd done wrong. Her side of the bed stayed untouched. I knew, because I kept checking. I don't even know why. Like part of me still hoped she might come home and explain it all away. Tell me it was a misunderstanding. Tell me I'd overreacted. But she didn't come back. Not at midnight. Not at 3 a.m. Not even in the morning. At 9:12 the next day, my phone finally buzzed. Just one message. "Can we talk tonight?" No apology. No explanation. No guilt. Just casual, like she was inviting me out for coffee. Like she hadn't just set fire to everything we'd built. And like an idiot, I said yes. She walked through the front door at 6:47 p.m., wearing the same coat from the night before, her hair a little messy, makeup faded, lips chapped. She didn't look guilty. She didn't look remorseful. She looked tired, like I was the one causing her stress. Trent, she said like my name was a burden. I didn't expect the ring. I didn't say anything. I was sitting on the edge of the couch, hands clasped between my knees, heart racing like I was about to be fired from my own life. I didn't mean for you to find out like that, she added. Like what? By accident. Through a hotel receipt tucked inside an empty ring box? So it's true. I finally asked. I could barely hear my own voice. She didn't answer. Not directly. She just walked over to the counter, saw the velvet box still sitting there, and pushed it slightly away from her. Like it disgusted her. Like commitment was a joke, and I was the punchline. I don't know what you want me to say, Trent, she sighed. Things have felt off for a while. You're always in your head. You act like I'm going to leave you every time we argue. And I guess maybe I did. I just stared at her. Because it was true. I was afraid she'd leave me. Every time. And somehow, that made this my fault in her eyes. Like she'd just fulfilled a prophecy I wrote by being insecure. Then she said the one thing I'll never forget. The thing that still rattles around in my skull like broken glass. I didn't plan it. But once I saw the ring, I knew we weren't on the same page anymore. Not, I'm sorry. Not, I messed up. Just a casual declaration that me wanting to marry her was the final red flag she needed. And still, I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just nodded like an idiot and asked her if she wanted tea. Tea. She said no. Then she grabbed her phone, muttered something about needing time to think, and left again. But this time, she forgot to log out of her laptop. And I, the fool still clutching hope, opened it. What I found broke whatever was left. I didn't mean to snoop. That's what I kept telling myself as I stared at her laptop screen, palms sweating, cursor blinking in the password field. But I didn't need a password. She'd left it open. Like she wanted me to find something, or like she was just that careless. At first, it was just noise, open tabs of fashion blogs, half-written emails to coworkers, calendar invites she never accepted. But then I saw a folder on her desktop with a name that didn't make sense. Revisions. I clicked it. Inside were dozens of Word documents with weird titles like Final 2, Alt_Finding, NO_send. They were all letters. Some addressed to T, some just titled with dates. They weren't emails. They were unsent drafts. Rambling, emotional monologues. I started reading. And suddenly, I wasn't sitting on my couch anymore. I was falling through the floor. The first letter started like this. Trent, I think I only stayed because I was afraid of what it meant to leave. She called me suffocating. Predictable. Passive. She said being with me felt like living in a house where the lights worked, but the windows wouldn't open. She said she felt trapped by my comfort, crushed by how much I needed her. She called me safe. Like that was a bad thing. Then the letters got more personal, more vivid. She wrote about him. She never said his name. Just he. Like he was the only man in the world now. She wrote things like, he sees me, not like Trent, who sees the version of me he needs. With him, I feel awake. With Trent, I feel heavy. Each letter was another layer peeling off. And the more I read, the more I realized she had been gone long before the hotel, long before the bar. She'd been leaving in pieces for months, maybe years. But then came the one that changed everything. A file titled For His Wife. At first I didn't understand. Then I read it. It was a letter she'd written but never sent to his wife. A woman I didn't even know existed. Cassidy had been the other woman in someone else's marriage. And she had the nerve to write the wife a full-blown confession. Except it wasn't an apology. It was a warning. She wrote, he's yours again now, but he'll still text me. He'll still think of me. He'll lie to you with the same mouth he used to praise me. You won. Congratulations. I sat there stunned. Not just because of the betrayal, but because I'd been second in her betrayal hierarchy. I wasn't just a broken fiancé. I was a side character in someone else's soap opera. That's when it all snapped. I closed the laptop, calmly walked to the bedroom, and grabbed the small safe I kept buried behind the dresser. Inside were the papers I never thought I'd need. Joint account info, legal documents, apartment lease, the spare key she forgot I had made. And in that moment, I decided I wasn't going to confront her again. I wasn't going to beg or cry or ask why. I was going to disappear. Not emotionally. Literally. I didn't pack dramatically. There was no suitcase exploding with clothes, no slamming drawers, no cinematic moment where I ripped our photos off the walls. I moved like a ghost in my own home, careful, quiet, almost polite about erasing myself. I took only what belonged to me, my laptop, 3 shirts, the old hoodie she hated, and my toiletries. I didn't even take the coffee maker even though I bought it. I didn't want her to think I'd taken anything out of spite. I wanted her to think I'd simply evaporated. The silence in the apartment was so loud it made my ears ring. I kept expecting her key to turn in the lock, for her to appear in the doorway with that annoyed half-smile she used when I did anything she didn't understand. But she didn't come home. Not that night. Not the next morning. Probably busy with him. Or busy writing unsent letters about how free she felt without me. I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't even heartbroken in the way I expected. It was more like numbness with a pulse. A weird calm that felt almost artificial. Like my body was trying to protect me from completely falling apart. Before leaving, I placed the velvet ring box back on the kitchen counter, but this time I left it wide open, empty, with the hotel receipt inside. A tiny, pathetic attempt at closure. Something she couldn't twist or blame on my insecurity. I walked out and didn't look back. My friend Milo let me crash in his spare room. He didn't ask questions at first. He just saw the way I was standing there, holding a backpack and shaking like I'd survived a car crash, and he told me to take the room. No rent, no explanation required. But the next morning, he finally asked, "Man, what happened?" And when I told him everything, he didn't react with sympathy. Not at first. He reacted with this stunned silence that was almost insulting. Then he said something I wasn't ready to hear. "Trent, her lover? I think I know who he is." I felt my stomach flip. "What do you mean you know him?" Milo rubbed his face, pacing like he wished he hadn't opened his mouth. "I'm not 100% sure. But the description? The bar? The hotel? I think it might be a guy named Ward Grover." I'd never heard that name in my life. It sounded like someone who owned an insurance company. "Who is he?" "That's the thing," Milo said. "He isn't single. He's married. And not just married. His wife is the kind of woman who does not take betrayal quietly. She's known for blowing things up. Not literally, but socially, legally, emotionally, everything." I froze. Because suddenly, the letter I found on Cassidy's laptop, for his wife, started to make terrible sense. Milo kept going. "If it really is Ward, then this isn't just an affair. This is a grenade waiting to go off. And you might want to stay far, far away when it does. But here's the thing about me. I'm not smart when I'm hurting. I'm not rational. I'm a walking bruise with legs. So instead of staying away, I did exactly what I shouldn't have done. I looked up Ward Grover's wife. And the second I saw her face, I knew. She had already found out. Her name was Mara Grover. And the moment her photo loaded on my screen, I felt an instinctive jolt of fear, like looking straight at a storm you know is moving your direction whether you're ready or not. She didn't look unhinged or dramatic. She actually looked alarmingly composed, like the type of person who plays chess while everyone else panics over checkers. She was a communications director for some nonprofit, according to her profile. Bright smile, steady eyes. The kind of woman who does not collapse when someone betrays her. The kind of woman who retaliates with precision. And right beneath her latest post, just a simple picture of a lake, there was a caption that punched me right in the chest. People reveal themselves eventually, some sooner than others. Hundreds of comments, none of them knowing what she meant. But I did. I wish I had stopped there, closed my laptop, gone outside, touched grass. But no, I kept scrolling like a masochist digging deeper into a wound just to feel something. 5 posts back, she tagged her husband Ward. And when I zoomed in on the picture of him at a charity dinner, I felt my jaw tighten. It was him. The same man I saw with Cassidy. The same man who answered the hotel phone. He had that same smug, polished face that looked like it had never experienced consequences. Milo walked into the room just as I slammed the laptop shut. "Dude, tell me you didn't do what I think you did," he said. I didn't answer. I didn't have to. He saw the expression I was wearing. The mix of shame, obsession, pain, and something else I didn't want to name yet. He sat down across from me like he was bracing for an explosion. "You need to stop, Trent. This isn't your fight." "I know." I said, even though I didn't believe it. I'm just trying to understand what's happening. He scoffed. Man, what's happening is simple. She cheated. The guy's married. His wife is about to make both their lives a nightmare. And you? You are collateral. Don't get involved. But the thing is, I already was involved. Not because I wanted revenge, not because I wanted drama, but because some pathetic part of me still needed answers. Needed something that made sense. Needed to know why I wasn't enough. That night, I got the first sign that Mara had indeed discovered the affair. At 11:24 p.m., my phone buzzed with an unknown number. I shouldn't have answered. But when you're broken, curiosity becomes its own poison. I picked up. Silence at first. Then a woman's voice, steady, cold, painfully calm. You're Trent, right? My throat tightened. Who is this? I think you know, she said. We need to talk. In person. I didn't respond. I couldn't. It felt like my lungs forgot their job. She continued. Your fiancé and my husband are in a hotel downtown right now. Room 314. I'm outside the door. You should be here. I swear my body temperature dropped 10 degrees. Why? I finally managed to whisper. Because, she said, if we're going to blow this open, we're going to do it together. Then she hung up. I stared at my phone like it had just cursed me. Milo kept asking me who it was, what happened, who called, but I couldn't answer him. All I could do was grab my coat, my keys, and my leftover dignity, and walk out the door. For the second time in 2 days, I headed straight toward room 314. This time, I wasn't alone. And this time, someone was already waiting for me. I didn't even remember the drive. 1 minute, I was in Milo's apartment. The next, I was standing across the street from that hotel again, heart pounding so loud it made my teeth ache. The air was colder than I expected. My hands were numb, but I didn't know if it was the weather or the adrenaline or just the stupid, bone-deep humiliation I couldn't shake. Mara was already waiting, exactly where she said she'd be. Black coat, gloves, hair pulled back like she was about to deliver a press conference, not destroy two people's lives. She looked right at me as I walked up. No expression, just clinical focus. Glad you showed, she said, like this was a business meeting. I almost didn't, I admitted, trying not to sound like my voice was cracking. You needed to, she said. We both do. I wanted to ask her what her plan was, how far she was willing to go, if this was going to be public or violent or permanent, but I couldn't find the words. All I could do was follow her through the lobby in silence. Elevator ride thick with the smell of cheap cologne and bad decisions. We stopped in front of room 314. She turned to me and handed me her phone. He texted me 20 minutes ago, she said. Told me he's going to be stuck in meetings all night. Then she reached into her coat pocket and pulled out a hotel keycard. I stared at it. You're not serious, I muttered, barely breathing. Oh, I'm very serious, she said. I know what I'm doing. The question is, do you? I didn't answer. She didn't wait. She slid the card, the light blinked green, and just like that, the door opened into someone else's lie. It was dark inside, but not empty. I saw a jacket on the chair. His. Her heels on the floor. The bathroom light was on, humming faintly. And then, from inside, laughter. Two voices. No guilt. No fear. Mara didn't hesitate. She walked right in like she owned the place. I followed like a man being led into his own funeral. The moment Cassidy stepped out of the bathroom, wrapped in one of those thin white hotel robes, she froze. Her expression twisted like she'd just seen a ghost. And in a way, she had. She looked at me, then at Mara, and for a second I actually saw something that looked like fear. Ward came out half a second later. Shirtless. Smirking. That smug, empty grin wiped clean the instant he recognized who was standing in front of him. No one spoke. The silence was so loud I felt it echoing off the walls. Then Mara stepped forward. Congratulations, she said coldly. You're both exactly who I thought you were. Cassidy opened her mouth, probably to lie, to spin, to minimize. But Mara raised one hand, silencing her without a word. I'm not here to argue, she continued. I'm here to inform. She took out her phone, tapped the screen, and turned it toward them. A video. From outside the room. Their voices. Their faces. The timestamp. Crystal clear. Ward, she said. I've already sent this to your office, your mother, and your brother. Cassidy, I haven't sent yours yet. But I will. Unless you cooperate. Cassidy's face turned pale. She looked at me like I was supposed to intervene, like I was supposed to protect her. But I just stood there, watching, for the first time in this entire nightmare. I didn't feel pathetic. I felt powerful. Mara stepped back and looked at me. "Anything you want to say to her?" she asked. And I did. But it wasn't what anyone expected. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I didn't throw anything, or demand answers, or beg her to tell me it wasn't real. That part of me, the part that needed to be chosen, had finally died the second she flinched when Mara walked in. I just stood there, hands in my pockets, staring at the woman I almost proposed to, in a hotel room she shared with another man. And I said, "You know, I used to think I wasn't enough for you. But now I get it. You were never too much. You were just never mine." Cassidy's eyes filled with something. Maybe guilt, maybe shock, but I didn't wait to find out. I nodded to Mara, turned around, and walked out. No drama, no scene, just peace. And for the first time in over a year, I felt like I was the one in control of my own story. Mara caught up with me in the hallway. "You handled that better than I expected," she said with a half smile. "I think I finally ran out of things to lose," I said. "And it feels kind of amazing." She laughed softly. "You're not the only one starting over tonight." We ended up getting coffee. Just coffee. No flirting. No false hope. Just two people sitting across from each other in a quiet booth, breathing out the wreckage of what had just collapsed. I moved out of the city 2 weeks later. Got a new job offer in Portland, something small but stable. Milo helped me pack. He kept saying, "This is the version of you I hoped I'd see again." Cassidy texted once. Just once. A long, rambling message about closure and regret, and how she misses who we used to be. I didn't reply. Some ghosts are meant to stay dead. I didn't track Mara down either. We had our moment. A strange, short alliance forged in betrayal. But she gave me exactly what I needed, the clean break I was too weak to take on my own. And me? I'm doing all right now. Better, actually. Some mornings I wake up and still reach for the ring box that isn't there anymore. But it doesn't hurt the way it used to. Now, it's just a reminder of who I almost became, and how lucky I am that I didn't.